What's up everyone, Nicholas is back this week. He is gonna be on the next banner of the week on Excellent and Supreme Wishes. Half the players love that and half hate that. That's pretty funny to see the reactions all the time, right? So that's gonna be the banner of the week on Excellent and Supreme Wishes. We are gonna have Nicholas, Hoff, Maeve, Guhanna and Vilette. We have Nicholas, of course that's the best hero we have today in the game. Best limited hero, you are gonna play him absolutely everywhere. But then the others, they have an utility, but I don't think that you are gonna use them if you are in endgame with all the heroes. In fact, Hoff, Maeve and Vilette are not played anywhere. At least, maybe you can try to use Vilette in the Wuthering Coast, depending on the team you have and the heroes you are gonna have. After the rework she had recently, she is now pretty decent, but Hoff and Maeve, they are not used anywhere. And then you have Guhanna, and some players are using her. She is a great hero for the new content, the Purgatory of Seven Sins. Then for the epic heroes, you're gonna have Hayley, Dustin, Biseiden and Rumble. 4 good epic heroes in fact. So they say that the Division sign-in event should start today, but there is nothing in game. I can't find it. So for now, I don't have more news about that. But let's talk about the heroes. Nicholas, you can obtain him in that event. You need to reach 9,000 points and generally you need to spend around 70 to 80 euros if you are using AppToid, because you get some cashback and so you can buy more stuff by spending less. Then he's also going to be in the banner of this weekend, so if you want me to summon for you, if you have a lot of excellent and supreme runes, it will be a pleasure for me to do a drawing session for you. When you go in classic arena, now Nicholas is not played in every defense, but generally you can still use him. He is absolutely great everywhere. But today, in fact, you have so many limited heroes that you can build that kind of defense and you are not forced anymore to use Nicholas, but Nicholas is still a great hero to use in your defense and your offense in classic arena. In advanced arena, you are gonna find him absolutely everywhere, and of course I'm using him. He is a great hero because if you have the exclusive 2, he is gonna be able to perma-freeze the opponents. In fact, if you are using him with another hero with a freeze, for example Jingle Bell or Nazil, many players are using them both. Then you can freeze with Nazil, for example, and right after that, if you freeze the opponents over the freeze of Nazil with Nicholas, you are gonna get perma-frozen. In fact, they are gonna be frozen and the freeze cannot be cleansed, and so using that mechanic, you can perma-freeze the opponents, and so that's super easy to win if it happens. Amazing to use that in PvP and in PvE as well. Versus waves, that's the best hero to have. He can also lower the speed of enemies by 40%, increase your speed by 40% when you have the first exclusive on him. He can passively increase the damage of all your heroes in your team, and if you have the exclusive 3, the damage increase is gonna be even better. He can increase as well the resistance of your support heroes and the damage reduction of your defense type units. And as well with the exclusive 3, you are gonna have the apple buff on your heroes, which means that you are gonna have an extra life on everyone. You can find Nicholas in every PvP content. He works well in every team you have in the Wuthering Coast. He is the best hero to have for the Broken Land, thanks to the perma-freeze. You are so safe on waves, that's an amazing hero for that. And if you check the lineups in every dungeon, you are gonna find Nicholas in every team. That's basically the best hero to have everywhere, and for every other content as well. Hero number 1 of Infinite Magicraid, even after 1 entire year. So if you're lacking some copies of Nicholas, you still have the Rainbow Diamond store, in which you have that chest. You can claim the first copy for free over time. And then you have the banner of the week to try your luck and summon him. And that event, if you are a spender, between 70 and 80 euros if you are spending with AppToid. Then you have Hoff. That's not a bad hero, but you have better options today in every content, and so because of that, nobody is using him anymore in fact. He has a unique kit. He is an HP burning hero. On the ultimate, 2 layers of HP burnings on all enemies in front, with the feebleness 1 if you have the second exclusive on him. At the beginning of the fight, he's gonna use that skill if you have the exclusive 3 on him, to apply directly defense down 60% and tenacity down 60% on the targets with the highest attack in front, and apply the hunting mark, which means that if you kill the target under the hunting mark, the hero who killed the target is gonna get an extra turn directly. It can give you a big advantage in PvE and in PvP. On the basic attack, he can reduce the resistance of the target by 50%, and so early game, when you are lacking some effect hit on your heroes, it can be a great hero to use. But once you have Nicholas can also reduce the resistance of the target by 50% using the basic attack, so then that guy becomes less useful in all content. But if you are starting the game, he's gonna be a good hero to help you clear the campaign, the Tower of Mark, and the Dwarven Ruins. And in PvP, that team works pretty well with Hoff inside. But don't expect that team to work versus a Sun Wukong when he is exclusive 3. Enemies are gonna have way too much tenacity, and so you are gonna need completely crazy stats on your heroes to beat that. But in 3v3 or the Championship or the War of Thrones, that team is gonna work pretty well. Hoff is here to apply the defense down and tenacity down 60% on the target at the beginning of the fight, but here it's gonna be super hard because the hero in front with the highest attack is gonna be Atkins, and she has a crazy amount of resistance. But she's gonna have the hunting mark, which means that if my Tifia kills Atkins, then she's gonna get an extra turn. And the goal of Tifia is to have the focus of my Rista to have more attack and crit damage, more damage thanks to my Lydia and Nicholas, and you are gonna see that I'm gonna take the first turn, and then my Tifia is gonna attack directly all enemies. So there we go, let's check that. Hunting mark on Atkins in front. I'm gonna use that skill with Lydia to increase the damage of my heroes. I have the alliance buff on my Tifia thanks to Rista because she has the most amount of attack in the team. I'm gonna use that skill, and look at that. There we go. She used her skill. I was close to kill Sun Wukong directly at the beginning. Sadly, I don't have enough stats on her, so it didn't work. And there is Atkins in front, and she is really annoying. Yeah, Atkins is just killing all my heroes. Okay, I killed Atkins, and now I'm gonna win the fight. So in endgame, this is the only way to play Hoff in the game, in my opinion. And then you have Maeve. That's a pretty good direct damage dealer, and she has a pretty unique mechanic. In fact, she has the slumber mark, which one can reduce the speed of the targets, and it works on bosses who are immune to speed down. That's why she is pretty strong. She can self-stealth and increase her own attack, lower the defense of the target by 60% on the basic attack, but then she has low coefficients for her damage. But she has some piercing rate on the ultimate, so she is gonna have pretty nice damage on it. She is gonna be an average hero based on direct damage. You will never see any in PvP. Maybe in the Wuthering Coast, if you don't have all the limited heroes, she can be good in a direct damage team. In the Dwarven Ruins versus Ifrit and Growland because they are taking more direct damage. Or early and mid game in the guild boss, depending on the heroes you have. And in the Faction Abyss, I know that some players are using her in the Foresters. But today, if you have Jingle Bell, you have many different teams that you can use to beat that boss. Unfortunately, in the lineups, you can't find any Maeve used by players. But I remember in the past, before we had Jingle Bell and other broken heroes on that faction, Bailey was able to clear that content using Maeve inside. And then you have Guhanna. She is an amazing hero for PvP early and mid game because she can increase the turn meter of your heroes, heal them, cleanse dots on your heroes, increase their attack by 20%, increase their speed by 40% if she has the second exclusive, or 20% instead. Passively reduce the direct damage you are gonna take on your heroes by 12% all the time if you have the exclusive 3, or only the first 2 turns, and then it's gonna be reduced by half. And apply a 7-1 20% on the basic attack. She is an amazing hero for the Dwarven Ruins early and mid game. In the Faction Abyss, in endgame, she is mandatory to clear that content, the stage 30. In the new content, the Purgatory of 7 Sins, she is a great hero to use versus every boss. Because of the speed up on your heroes, the turn meter increase, the dot cleans on your heroes, the attack up 20%, and because she is a hero who can apply the Seva Wand. You can use her on Lust if you don't have Eye Mercado, on Gluttony, on Greed if you don't have Hizaro, on Slot players are using her, on Wrath if you don't have Jenny, and you can also use her on Envy. She is also used in the Wuthering Coast and the different world bosses. If you check my HP burning team, for example, in the Wuthering Coast, I'm using her inside. And that's the score I can get at the end. 2 billion damage. And finally you have Vilette. That's a pretty good support. She can heal a lot your heroes, apply Ripple 2 increasing your basic attack damage by 40% for 2 turns. She can apply Wet 2 with the basic attack on the target, lowering the skill damage by 40%, speed down 20%. It would have been better to have a speed down 40%. I know that many heroes are doing that today, even on the basic attack. You have Timmy who can do that. She can cleanse non-control debuffs on your heroes and apply a block debuff for 1 turn only. One more time, a 2 turns block debuff would have been way better, but Nordak is the only one who can do that today. And if you have the exclusive 2, it looks pretty strong because when an ally is lower than 30% of HP, she's gonna cleanse all debuffs from that ally and heal them for 12% of her max HP directly. It can be pretty good in my opinion for PvP. But I have to try that. I never tried it in fact, so maybe she is game changer in PvP, I don't know, and I don't think so, but it looks pretty strong. She can also apply Wet 2 with the ultimate, lowering the basic attack damage by 40%. I think I said skill damage when I was talking about the basic attack. My bad. Basic attack damage reduction. And feebleness too, but then it's gonna depend on the layers of afflatus you can inflict on the target. And if you have the exclusive 3, you are gonna apply raging waves for 2 turns on the target, up to 3 layers, and every time in fact you are gonna use a skill on the targets under raging waves, they are gonna lose 8% of max HP with a cap on her own max HP. So she is a pretty good unit today. But there isn't many content in which you are gonna use her. In fact, you have better options for many content. And generally, Seth is a better unit to use. But hey, you can find some Villettes to clear the stage 30 of the Hidden Wave Faction Abyss. If you check the lineups, as you can see there is Vilette inside. I know that you can use her in the Wuthering Coast to increase the damage of your heroes. For example, if I take the Power of Sagacity buff, with Indra, Dianmu, Faxian, Heather to have more defense on Indra and deal more damage, and Vilette in the same team, she's gonna increase a bit the damage of your heroes. So that's the kind of score you can have with that team, with Vilette inside. And then of course you can try to use her in different content. It's gonna depend one more time on the heroes you have on your account. But she is a pretty good unit overall. Hayley is a great hero to use in the Faction Abyss. She's gonna provide many things to your heroes. A shield, Cold 2 in AoE, so the enemies are gonna inflict 40% less skill damage. It can help a lot versus a boss. Suffocated on the basic attack, single target, so the target cannot use the basic attack. And she can protect your heroes. That's an epic hero with the red mark, and she's great in the Tower of Mark as well, because she can remove all bursts from enemies, and so if you're facing the boss with the shield, she's gonna be able to remove the shield of the boss. And early game, she is amazing in a campaign to help you clear the stage 12-10 hell. Dustin is another amazing hero for different content in the game, early and mid game, and even in endgame, depending on the heroes you are gonna have in the Faction Abyss, the Brotherhood. He is gonna be really nice, because he can shield your heroes by a lot, heal them, reduce the attack of the enemies by 20% on the basic attack, lower their effect hit so you are gonna take less debuffs on your heroes, and passively cleanse your heroes as Catherine is doing. And in the Faction Abyss, on the last boss, he's gonna be able to cleanse the stun on your heroes, and that's gonna save your ass. You can use him in the Tower of Mark as well, and to clear some stages early and mid game in the Dwarven Ruins, that's gonna be a great hero for that. Biseiden, amazing hero early, mid game, and you can probably make some teams with him in PvP in end game as well. The fact is that he's gonna cleanse one of your hero, giving him an extra turn and all the offensive buffs at once, and that skill is still pretty insane today. You just need one great nuker in your team, you are gonna use that on that hero, and you are gonna nuke the entire team in front. So that's still an amazing hero for PvP. He has also a Sever Wand on the basic attack, attack down 20% and resistance down 20% in AoE with the ultimate. And he's getting some more turn meta increase when someone dies on the field. You can use him mainly in PvP, early game and mid game in the classic arena. It works pretty well at the beginning on a new server. In advanced arena, championship, War of Thrones, that's gonna be a great hero. You can use him in the Faction Abyss, and why not in the Tower of Mark early game. And finally, you are gonna have Rumble. In my opinion, that's only an epic hero, but that's a better version of Gramdy, because they can both decrease the speed of enemies, but Gramdy can only apply a speed down 20%, where Rumble can apply a speed down 40%. So even for the Faction Abyss, that's gonna be way better than Gramdy to use him. And for the waves, he's gonna freeze the waves using the ultimate on a single target using the first active skill, and on the basic attack sometimes. He's immune to freeze and speed down. He's gonna take 20% less direct damage from heroes under speed down on them. And every time you are gonna freeze an enemy, he's gonna have 6% more turn meta. Imagine in PvP, for example, you are freezing the opponents using a Nazil, they are losing their first turn, normally they should play before you, let's say that. They lost their first turn, and then you have Rumble acting right after that because he gets some turn meta increase. It can be really strong, right? And when he dies, he is gonna use that skill if you have the exclusive 3 on him, and freeze all enemies. So even dead, he's gonna help you. And if you are curious to know, that's something I'm currently using in the War of Thrones. In fact, when you check your lineups, you have that unique buff, the Sacrifice the Dead, and at the beginning of the battle, it's gonna sacrifice the hero with the less amount of speed on your team. And in my case, it's gonna be Rumble. And so if you check the team I'm using with Rumble inside, I have as well Rista, Nilua, and Focus. So Focus, when I have one hero who dies in my team, he's gonna have more turn meta and grant some to all my heroes. Then my Rista is gonna increase the turn meta of my Nita. My Nilua is gonna reduce the turn meta of one enemy in front. And then I'm gonna take the advantage and look at all of these. Let's check versus that team in front. There is a Nazil. I'm gonna cleanse with Nilua, and look at that at the beginning. My Rumble is gonna die, freeze all enemies. There we go. They are frozen. Only Nicholas resisted that. I can cleanse my heroes thanks to my Nilua and reduce the turn meta of one enemy. My Focus gave more turn meta to all my heroes after the death of my Rumble, and I take the advantage. I'm killing everyone. Rumble is an amazing hero for that. Okay guys, that was all for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If it's the case, as always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Have a nice day guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.